Alright y'all, so today the video will be about Solana. It's been a minute since the last video, but I felt like it was really important, and maybe just a broad overall view of the market. Hope everyone's doing alright. Thanks for tuning in. And remember, none of this is financial advice, just something that I thought I found today that kind of felt like a breakthrough moment for me, and I wanted to share. So today's video actually started from this tweet from Ansem, and then he tweeted, what was it, today, just the funniest charts are the other alts, so any altcoin paired with Solana. So I just already thought like, oh, probably Solana is outperforming a lot of these other alts, but I didn't see how evident it was when I actually charted it myself. So we'll look at some of those charts today and just have a breakdown of what Solana is. Alright, so what is some bullish news that happened with Solana, FTX? They're all kind of correlated somehow. So today, FTX secured a deal with Steph Curry to be an ambassador for FTX and crypto. So yesterday, Steph tweeted that he's interested in crypto, was kind of foreshadowing of what was to come today. So they probably already had the deal in place and they stirred up the excitement yesterday. So he announced a partnership with FTX run by SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried. I post this guy a lot on my IG, and this guy I think is going to be the next Bezos. We'll see more of him later. And Steph said he's excited to partner with a company that demystifies the crypto space and eliminates the intimidation factor for first-time users. So FTX has like an international exchange where you could do just spot, just holding the actual crypto or derivatives, but they also have a separate US exchange called FTX US. And then Tom Brady already has a deal with FTX as well, so you can see them commenting with each other. And FTX right now is already valued at 18 billion throughout its recent round of fundraising, and they signed a deal with UC Berkeley, the Cal Golden Bears, for a 10-year, 17 million deal. They also signed a deal with the Miami Heat to rename their arena FTX Arena. And if you watch baseball at all, you'll see their logo, the FTX logo, on every like umpire's uniform. And then SBF said after meeting with Steph, it was clear that he was a perfect fit for FTX. And then SBF also is highly committed to charity work, and Steph fits that. So it looks like they got a partnership there. And then this was kind of one of the historical moments that people have been talking about it all year and looking at it. So this is a pretty big crypto trading account, trader account, whatever, Coin Mamba, probably named after Kobe, on Twitter. And then he was arguing with SBF back in January how Solana was trash and that he was trying to short it. And then there was like an argument here, you could see. And then SBF was saying to sell Sol at $2, and what we're at like 170 now, right? And then they're just chatting, talking, whatever. And then where is it? So here, you just agree with me that Solana's overvalued. And then this is the tweet that this historical that everybody talks about. I'll buy as much Sol as you have at $3. Sell me all you want, then go F off. So people point at this tweet that this was like a historical moment for Solana, and SBF calling like the bottom before the actual run up. So what, that was January 9th, right? Well, let's see what Solana was. Oh, we're at 175 now, cool. January 9th, Sol was, yep, right here, $3. You can see that, $3 when he tweeted that, and we're at 175 now. So that's why you gotta take a lot of these crypto trading accounts with a grain of salt as well. So you have to know how to think for yourself and do your own analysis too. Alright, and what else happened with Solana? So here's just a brief overview of Solana. You know, website this is, but it was created to deal with the throughput problems in the Bitcoin and Ethereum blockchains. It's a decentralized computing platform that uses the Sol token to pay for transactions, and it uses this new combination for consensus called proof of history. We don't got to go into technical details, you don't even need to know all that, but Solana was founded by this guy, some Russian name, who was an engineer chip maker with Qualcomm, and then him with a few other engineers, Raj Gokal. I follow this guy on Twitter. He worked in the digital health sector. They all helped found Solana. And then it's getting support from FTX. What we just talked about, FTX has an $18 billion valuation, launched by SBF. And then the users include some of the biggest and brightest in crypto, such as Serum, FTX, Chainlink, some of these other things. And then how is it different than Bitcoin? So Bitcoin requires an enormous amount of power and equipment for like the mining rigs, but Solana aimed to improve that by lowering the transaction fees, which I sent some Solana earlier. It was like 0.01 was the fee, and then it was instant as well. And then is Solana here to stay? Traditionally, venture capital is considered a strong indication. So venture capital, hedge funds, big money is getting into Solana. And then recently, Solana raised $314 million to fund its tech. And here's more about SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried. This article was back in February. He said he already amassed $10 billion through just 3 years in crypto. This guy used to be a former Wall Street quant trader, so he's familiar with stocks and the Wall Street industry, and he saw opportunity in crypto and then went in for crypto. And I believe he's a graduate from MIT as well. So he got into crypto trading in 2018, and then under his crypto empire, under Alameda Research, he runs this as well. They started FTX, the derivatives exchange, and they developed Serum, which their ticker is SRM. So Serum is part of the Solana ecosystem as well. So he helped start that, and then how his name first came about, or I started hearing about him, was that he was the second highest donor to Joe Biden last year during the presidency. So he donated $5.2 million to Biden. And you can see that. And then this guy is just a regular guy, a regular nerd. Look at him playing League of Legends and then sleeping in the office on a beanbag. This guy's crazy. Alright, so there's just some background on Solana and part of the reason why I'm so bullish on this project, and it's partly due to this guy, SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried. Alright, so there's some news also about Solana or FTX today, which is kind of related to Solana. We'll play that clip.
And next piece of news, let's talk about Solana. Because in a sea of red, Bitcoin's down, Ethereum's down, Cardano's down, why is Solana holding steady? Well, check this out. You can now mint NFTs on crypto exchange FTX. And we know that exchange FTX, as well as altcoin Solana, have a lot of the same backers. And why this is significant is because while the majority of NFT trading volume happens on the OpenSea marketplace, crypto exchanges are starting to realize that they can directly offer a similar service to their millions of users. So once you buy your first piece of cryptocurrency, why go to OpenSea if you can just stay on the exchange you bought it from and mint NFTs? This means that FTX users can create their own artworks and mint them as NFTs on the exchange to be sold within its marketplace. This includes US users via FTX US. And we know that NFT minting is obviously bullish for Ethereum, but it's also bullish for Solana. Bankman-Fried, CEO of FTX, noted that all NFTs will be cross-chain across Ethereum and Solana blockchains. So we are going to have to see how this affects OpenSea, and then now how much of this NFT creation happens on FTX on the Ethereum and Solana blockchain. And I will say, it's not all rainbows and butterflies. There are fees. Buying and selling NFTs do not come cheap on FTX. They do charge 5% to the buyer as well as 5% to the seller, so a total of a 10% fee, which to me, this is outrageous. But what I will like to see, or what I would like to see, is as Coinbase, as in certain exchange, Kraken, as they all add these features, as OpenSea starts to get more competitive now that they have more competition.
All right, so FTX added buying and selling, minting NFTs for their platform. There was a problem with the fees. Okay, so that video is from Altcoin Daily. You guys can follow them. And this video actually just came out yesterday, and it actually ties in perfectly to this video today. And he gives Crypto Lark gives an even better breakdown. Lark Davis, follow him on YouTube, of why Solana has been so bullish lately. Let's talk about it.
Let's go ahead and get into this topic. Solana, it's going crazy. Up big time, a few 100% over the last few weeks. Of course, this is the newest in a long line of Ethereum competitors gunning for market share, trying to get users, get total value locked, get developers. Solana right now is a fully functional blockchain. Unlike some other blockchains out there that have high valuations, Solana can also do 65,000.
So if you caught that, fully functional, but with high value, or not fully functional with high valuations, he's talking about Cardano. Yeah, we don't like Cardano over here anymore.
1,000 transactions per second, and the fees for using Solana, dirt freaking cheap. Of course, we have other cheap chains, right? Polygon's cheap to use. Binance Smart Chain's cheap to use. Other chains are cheap to use. But Solana is damn cheap. Ethereum, of course. The old man over here at 15 transactions per second and 50, 60 bucks to do a swap on Uniswap. Sometimes a couple $100 to get in and out of DeFi. Not very user-friendly for the average person entering into crypto right now. Now, I'm not going to go much into the tech stuff on Solana here. If you're not familiar with that, you should go and check out this video I made a few months ago, about 5 months ago. 10x altcoin no one is talking about, Solana. This is back when Solana was around 20 bucks. It's almost hit that 10x. Wowzers, wowzers. Anyway, we dive into the technicals a lot more, what makes Solana unique and special and all that stuff, so it's a more informative video. Because in this video, we're not talking about the tech. I want to talk about why Solana is freaking mooning right now. One other note, too, in case you weren't aware, Solana's also got a burning mechanism, so it actually burns a percentage of the transaction fees right now, so of course that's good for long-term economics. We're all very excited about Ethereum's EIP 1559. Solana's also got a burn mechanism built in. And look, yeah.
All right, so we talked about Solana, the benefits: cheap fees, it's fast, it's instant, and it actually works with the smart contracts, right? So F Cardano. And what do they also do? They have a burning mechanism similar to ETH. So some Solana actually gets burned as well, similar to like EIP 1559 with ETH.
Ethereum's got some great layer 2 scaling solutions. In fact, we just passed a total of $1 billion total value locked just in Ethereum layer 2s. But hey, Ethereum, it's still got those crazy fees, and Solana, it's here, it's now, it's fast, it's easy, it's got massive transaction throughput. Again, Ethereum is still kind of the London or the Paris of crypto. It's pretty damn expensive to live there. If you can afford it, great, nice place to live. But for everybody else, you might want to go and seek out alternatives. But just the low fees on Solana doesn't account for the big price spike, because there's lots of chains that have cheap fees. Cheap fees is not unique to Solana by any means. So why Solana? Why now? Well, here are the 5 reasons why the Solana ecosystem has been going crazy. The first is that builders are actually showing up. This is obviously critical for any cryptocurrency. You gotta have the devs show up. You gotta have stuff actually be freaking built on your blockchain. Otherwise, you're a ghost town. And Solana is definitely not a ghost town. We have loads of applications built on Solana that you can actually go out and use right now, today. You don't have to wait for something in the future. There's all these great projects out there right now that you can use. For example, you have Port Finance, that's kind of like one of the Aave competitors that we're seeing coming up on Solana. We have Mercurial Finance, that's like Ethereum's Curve Finance. That's a stablecoin swapping protocol. We have Radium, which is kind of like Uniswap. Yields on some of these Solana DeFi protocols, very, very high right now. I looked at Port Finance today. It's around 50% on stablecoins. Mercurial Finance going around 25% on stablecoin liquidity provision. So there's some really great rates out there to be had on Solana. And of course, getting in and out of those DeFi protocols costs virtually nothing. We also have a big ecosystem outside of just decentralized finance. We have things like Audius project, really big for the music industry. They've just partnered up with TikTok as well, which is of course completely freaking massive. Devs are committing, which I think is probably one of the most important things, which is why it's in at number 1. The devs are here. The devs are here. You need developers. You need applications. Without the developers, nobody cares about how fast your blockchain is. And there's lots of blockchains. If you look down Coingecko and CoinMarketCap, it is a graveyard of zombie chains that nobody uses. Nobody built on them. The developers never showed up to do anything. They did for Solana. A couple other chains too, but definitely for Solana.
All right, so he said there's a lot of builders and developers projects being built on Solana. So I just wanted to highlight how to find what coins are part of the Solana ecosystem. And right now we're on Coingecko. You can go to coins and there's a drop down for categories. You can even do this on the mobile app, right? Let's click on categories. And these are the different like sections of crypto. But look at this. The past 7 days, right? Look at the Solana ecosystem up 27% still, despite the drop, and look at everything else. Internet of Things, that's kind of up. Avalanche is still kind of up. We talk about that sometimes, but look at Solana, 27. It's significantly outperforming everything else. And you can just click on it, Solana ecosystem. So Sol's up top here, but like in the video, he talked about Audius. He talked about Radium was there. I think is Mercurial here? Where's Mercurial? There, Mercurial. So Mercurial is number 645 ranked. And then he also talked about Port in there. So they're Port Finance. Look at this, past 7 days, up 195%. Tulip up 118%. This is all despite the drop. Liquid Protocol up 200%. I don't know, like half of these, right? There are just so many coins, so many plays that are possible. Saber 210%. Slim Selenium up 180. VLX, Vela. See, I don't even know what half of these are, but you can see how, but Solana, the top dog, is still up 62% this week. So you don't even have to worry about all of these. Sure, they're having great gains, but you could still just focus on Solana. But if you want to dig deeper, and we'll talk about that a little later, you can chart these pairs against Solana to see which is the better buy. Let's get back.
Number 2, NFTs. Oh, of course, NFTs have been a massive trend recently. Solana's got a lot of NFTs too. That's been part of what has been driving the demand to get the main Solana asset, the SOL token, because people want to go and buy NFTs on Solana, which are priced in Solana. Now look, right now, a lot of the Solana NFTs, not all of them by any means, but a lot of Solana NFTs are just copy-paste version of Ethereum NFTs. We have Solana Punks, we have Solana Meebits, we have Solana Apes, and the Solana Apes are a little bit different, but still, the ideas are just kind of being recycled, but over on Solana. We haven't seen a massive amount of really unique, interesting stuff. We will, but that's kind of where that NFT scene is right now for profile pictures and art and stuff like that. But I think the real story for Solana and NFTs, maybe even just Solana overall, gaming. It's going to be freaking massive on Solana. Ethereum, obviously prohibitive for gaming because of the high damn fees. You've had to see things like Axie Infinity. They went off and built their own sidechain. Now we do have some great scaling solutions for NFT and gaming coming to Ethereum very, very soon. We have Immutable X, which is launching this week. I think they're having their sale. So that's coming out, and it's specifically focused on NFTs and gaming for the Ethereum ecosystem. We have Layer 2's Arbitrum and Optimism and all that stuff, but we have some pretty damn sick looking games being built out right now for the Solana ecosystem. One of the big ones that's getting everybody very, very excited right now is called Star Atlas.
Atlas, see? That's some of the clips of the gameplay right there. It's like it's going to be pretty crazy.
Star Atlas, it's a space-themed game where people are fighting for resources and all that stuff. You know how popular sci-fi space games are. You can see, of course, what it's going to look like. This level of gaming, it's going to be the whole next thing in crypto. Really good looking, really fun to play games, because most of the games we've seen so far in crypto, still very basic. Much better than they were 2 years ago, but still pretty basic in comparison to traditional games that we see out in the market. Star Atlas is one that looks a lot more like a serious game competitor. Number 3, Solana is frickin' sitting on piles of gosh darn money. Now, Solana, they actually raised $314 million back in June in order to pump up DeFi on Solana. I mean, all that money flowing around, all those grants, developers do like money. Part of the reason why we're seeing so many developers committing to the Solana ecosystem right now. They're getting money, they're getting grants, they're getting a lot of investments. If you start looking around, you see all of these guys have been invested in by Solana or by Alameda. A lot of money there. And of course, Solana also has very strong backing from the FTX exchange, particularly Sam Bankman-Fried, who famously said, I will buy all of your Solana at $3 and then go screw yourself. To somebody on Twitter a while ago, well, he's up pretty well on his $3 Solana purchases by certainty, but the FTX exchange has been giving very strong support to the Solana ecosystem overall. We've seen them with initial listings. You can do direct withdrawals into the Solana ecosystem. FTX is the third biggest spot exchange and the second biggest derivatives exchange. That is money, money, money. So $314 million plus the backing of FTX, which having a cryptocurrency exchange that big, that's like more money than God, man. These guys just print money all day long, and they can reinvest that into making even more money by pumping up the Solana ecosystem. So that is, of course, part of what they have been doing. So that's a big, big factor pushing Solana up right now. Number 4 is institutional money. Now, this is a big factor, and of course, the massive price success of major cryptocurrencies are the big money guys showing up, are your hedge funds and your private funds and your family offices and your millionaires and your billionaires, and all these guys, are they showing up? Well, for Solana, the answer is yes. Institutional money is starting to take a big interest in Solana. Osprey, they announced a Solana fund 2 weeks ago. They are far from the only big money players piling into Solana right now. I follow a few different heads of venture capital firms and research firms on Twitter, and they're all saying we're seeing big institutional interest right now from Solana. They're investing, they're getting into it, they're partaking in the ecosystem, all this stuff. So Solana is definitely on the tip of the tongue of the institutional money crowd. That has the effect of continuing to push the price of the asset higher. A lot of these guys are going to be looking at this as like, hey, it's the next Ethereum, and it's at 1/9 of the price of Ethereum. They'll be piling money in, and of course it's fully functional, right? You don't have to wait for smart contracts to come out or whatever it might be. It's working here right now today with developers and users piling into the network. Number 5, the users. Big factor, obviously. Again, the crypto market is replete with zombie chains that have no freaking users. But they were fast and they were supposed to do something really good. They never did. But now we're actually seeing users really showing up en masse for some of these different blockchains. We've seen, for example, a lot of users going into the Binance Smart Chain. We've seen a lot of users going into Terra. We've seen a lot of users going into Polygon. We're seeing some users getting into Avalanche, and truckloads of users getting into Solana right now. Now, Solana currently is number 4 by total value locked in DeFi. That being said, number 4 is pretty damn far behind Ethereum. Ethereum's got about $131, $132 billion total value locked right now. Solana's got about $5 billion. So it's really just starting to take off, but it is rising fast. We are seeing a lot of money coming in. That total value locked in Solana 2 weeks ago was half of what it is today. And this is going to continue to grow, because here is the simple fact. There's a massive market out there for users who want to get access to yield. They want to be able to farm stablecoins and do liquidity provision and play NFT games and all that stuff without paying $50 or $100 or $200 fees on Ethereum. A lot of people can't even afford that. I mean, seriously, $50 fees to make a swap on Uniswap, it's nuts. On Solana, it costs a fraction of a penny. It's pretty obvious for a lot of people where the money is going to go. That's why we've seen BSC and Polygon and others gaining so much popularity. Ethereum's still very popular with whales and those who can't afford it. But right now, we are seeing a diversification of users getting out into these different protocols. So how can you cash in on the Solana trend? Buy Solana. That's number 1, of course. Solana currently was 170, 180 bucks, something like that at the time of recording this video. Maybe different by the time you end up watching this video, but you have to keep in mind, we've seen Solana rally about, 300% in 3 weeks. That's a pretty epic rise for such a big market cap cryptocurrency. So buying the main Solana asset right now, it's a, I guess, higher risk than it was a few weeks ago. I mean, you now have the social proofing, oh, see how much it can be worth, but buying it a few weeks ago, you had a lot more opportunity. Now look, maybe Solana does go on and it gets up to $100 billion market cap. Would not be surprised. That would be a 2x from where it is right now, so that would put Solana.
So he says 100 billion market cap. He gets that from right here. So Solana's right at 51, 52 billion market cap, and then he's saying this could double. So what, $340, $350 Solana. And then what we are trying to do is catch Cardano and Binance Coin to be similar to their market cap or exceed it. So like 52% to 81%, I calculated earlier, is like a 60% increase. So Solana needs to go up by 60% to be ADA market cap. If ADA stays the same, but likely ADA will still go up as well. But there's still room to go for Solana, but it is a lot riskier now, being at this point, how much it's ran. But just on what he's talking about with what's building on it, the developers, total value locked, NFTs, gaming, funding from 300 million raised, VC firms, hedge funds interested in Solana. It looks like all the stars are aligning for Solana.
Solana around $300. Maybe it gets up to 150 billion, 200 billion. Again, would not be blown away, depending on how, of course, the bull market continues to progress. So you might get another 2, 3, 4, 5x out of Solana during the rest of this bull market cycle. Long term, who knows? But where probably the real money is going to be made on Solana is not throwing all your money into the main SOL asset right now, but actually by using Solana. So if you feel like you've been missing out on the NFT trend because it's just too damn expensive to use OpenSea or to claim your NFTs on the Ethereum network when we have mints and stuff like that, you can do it over on Solana, and it's going to cost you virtually nothing. So you can actually go and do this and participate in the NFT space. Maybe you want to start doing some decentralized finance. Yields are really, really high right now, right across Solana applications. There's good money to be made there. And then you can make that money on your higher risk yield farming and NFT flipping and getting into some of these lower cap application tokens, make some money on those, and then move that, of course, into a lower risk hold, which would be the main Solana asset. Same concept that you do with Ethereum. You make big money in the smaller stuff, and then you move it up to the big boy, Ethereum. It's a nice way to stack up your Solana stack long term, of course, if you are a believer that Solana will have big long term success. And look, there's lots of great low cap stuff out there right now. You can go over to Coingecko.com and you go up to their coins categories section, and you scroll down here and you can find the Solana ecosystem. Of course, lots of other great stuff on here too, but you can find the Solana ecosystem. All that being said, Solana, of course, still does have its work cut out for competition.
See, he showed that exact same thing about Coingecko. Alright, so that's the overview for Solana. Some things he talked about in the video: developers, gaming, increasing users, DeFi. And so right now, Solana, we're at market cap, let's say 50 billion. Ethereum's at 400. So we're not going to probably catch Ethereum. Maybe we can get to 100 billion, 200 billion, and Ethereum will grow as well. So we just want to be able to capture a certain percentage of Ethereum market cap. It's like 50 divided by 400 is what are you at right now? We're at like 12% of Ethereum market cap. That's what Solana is. So maybe we can get to 20 or 30%. That'll be great. All right, so let's just look at Sol right now, right? So since it broke past the previous all-time highs here around 55, 60 bucks, it is up 220%, and that was, how many days has this been? Let's see. So it's up 200, like 15% in 23 days. That's crazy. So you can just do that here on the price and prediction measurement tools. There's a price range or a date range. Just click those and you could drag them. And we're on TradingView right now. So Solana ran up 200% in 23 days. And yeah, I could see why people would say that they think it's still risky being up so much and getting in now, but I still think like anything under 200 for Solana, I'm trying to scoop it up as a steal. I don't know how much it's going to go down because the markets went down today, right? So Solana dropped all the way down here to 127 sometime midday. Let's look at this, a 4-hour chart. Look at this. It dropped down to sub 130, and right now we're already back to 178. So it literally is up $50 since today. And today was supposed to be a terrible day in the markets, right? But Solana, look at it, still going up. So based on everything from the video, SBS, Steph Curry, all that stuff plays into it on why I'm bullish on Solana. Alright, and the main thing I wanted to highlight today is charting on Solana pairs. Alright, so I was first thought about it like, what were the best plays of this recent run that we've had? So Axie was one of them. We could look up Axie right here. Look at Axie. So since it broke its high back in like April, then it rebroke it right here in July. Let's look how much it's ran. So Axie has ran crazy, like 700 something percent, right? Solana ran what was that, 200 something percent? But look at Axie, 700% since it broke here in July. But if you compare the Axie versus Solana pair, so this is what you can do. You could literally just type AXS, like literally any coin you want, just type AXS USDT and then put a space, and then you put in a divide symbol, and then type in Sol USDT and select the Binance pair. So we're doing this because you want to look at these ratios, and then you just press enter. So ratios, right? Rise over run. So Axie over Sol, right? So if Axie is outperforming, is gaining faster than Sol, this chart would be bullish, like this right here, from June all the way up to July. So it's like about a month and a half, 2 months, it went crazy, right? So here, let's just say from here to here, it went up like almost 2,000%. Oh my god, that's insane. Okay, but then since this top here in July, Sol has outperformed it by like 80%. So since this peak, you would rather be in Sol than Axie. So this is going down because Sol, which is on the denominator, is increasing faster than Axie's is. So right now this is actually interesting for Axie. You want to see if this support area will hold, and then if this reverses, you could actually take some profits that you had in Sol into Axie, and then if this reverses and starts moving up again. Okay, so what is another play that has been performing really well? That's what I want to point out. Phantom. So Phantom is another coin that has been performing really well lately, but you can see if we zoom in here, we're on the daily chart. It looks like it possibly can outperform Sol in the short term. And look at this. It has actually outperformed Sol recently since August 29th. So in the past week, it's up like, and it looks like it's going up still. It's outperformed Sol by 70%. So Phantom has been outpacing Solana recently. So this is another coin that you could possibly take some profits on Solana into, and look at this potential like 400 something percent to this level. And then when it reaches here, you can take some profits from FTM and put it back into Sol or whatnot. But for the Solana ecosystem, there's some plays here that I have mentioned. Like, let's look at MNGO. So MNGO versus Sol, I was posting about this. Look at this, since it has dropped. It is down like 65% against Solana. So right now, realistically, until this trend reverses, you would still want to be in Solana, not necessarily buy MNGO. You would want to wait on this trend to reverse. Okay, so let's look at Cardano. Look at this chart. Look how trash this is. But Cardano since right here in January 7th. Remember that tweet from SBF that was like January 8th? Since that time, Cardano has underperformed Solana by 90%. So by holding all your money in Cardano and not in Solana, like you missed out on, like you lost 90% of its value instead of being in Solana over Cardano during this time. And Cardano has done really well. It was sub like 10 cents last year and ran to $3, so that's like a 30x. But if you took profits here, and if you're watching it, like, so let's say Cardano was on this crazy uptrend this whole time, right? So from here up to this peak, so Cardano outperformed Solana by like 600%. Crazy, right? But then if right at this peak you saw the signs of weakness, this drop, and then looks like we had a resistance here, and then we broke down from it again. It looks like we aren't able to break past above it. If you sold some or a good amount of your ADA for Solana here, you would have been able to get these gains all the way down for Solana. All right, and let's look at Quant. So Quant is another coin that has been very bullish lately. Let's look at the Quant chart. Okay, so look at this chart right here. Since July, Quant, let's say since breaking above this range at 100, right? Quant is up about 230%. So pretty similar to the breakout from Solana. It's up around low 200% gain. But if you chart it against Solana, so Quant over Sol, you could see which is possibly the better play. But look, so from the bottom here on September 4th, it is up, like, it's actually still up, went down the past few days, but it's up 42% against Solana. So actually in the past week, Quant would be the better buy over Solana. So this is how you can tell what plays you want to be in, what you want to trade for what, to always make sure you're in the top gainer in the market. But Solana doesn't look like it's slowing down anytime soon, but let's say this flips, this breaks out, something like this. Where's the arrows? So if this does something like this, breaks out, goes up here, that would be like a signal that you would want to get, maybe trade some Solana for Quant, because you would think Quant could outperform Solana here. That was good. But look at this Atlas one. All right, so Atlas, since it performed, I was posting about it for a few days. It was going crazy, and then you could see it dropped a lot when it returned to the norm somewhat. So it's dropped like about 50% against Solana. So until this probably turns bullish again, like until we could flip this area into support, you'd probably want to wait for that to happen to get into Atlas. And then of course you still look at the Atlas chart. Atlas chart. Okay, whatever. But yeah, you could look up Atlas too. So Atlas. So yeah, so there. Atlas is right in a range, and looks like it's recovering somewhat. And maybe if it breaks this, it goes up. But you still don't want to just look at the pair by itself. You want to compare it to Solana, because Solana is the top performer. Okay, so let's look at Bitcoin pair. What the hell? Okay. Let's look at this. Bitcoin versus Solana. So this is since the start of, so let's look at the peak somewhere around here. January 6th. Remember, this is exact same dates that we were talking about with SBF when he tweeted that sell me all your soul at $3. Okay. So look at this. So since that time, we're all the way down here. Bitcoin has underperformed Solana by like 98%, almost 100% that you would have lost by being in Bitcoin compared to Solana. So let's think about it, right? The tweet was on, what day was that tweet? January 9th, right? So let's look at what happened here. January 9th was not even at the top, it was like right here. So let's say we can move this down here to January 9th. So even if you're charting this, like this pair, watching it the whole time, you can see that it reached this area, it broke down from support, tried to go up, but then it broke down again. So right here, when it broke down the second time, that was your signal to get out of Bitcoin and possibly trade it for Solana here. And then you would have gained like 97%, right? So Solana was $3, right? Solana was $3 on January 9th. If we remember, from what we pointed out earlier. Okay, so January 9th, right here, Solana, $3. Right here. And what was Bitcoin on that day? And look, Solana's at 177 now, right? So what is 177 divided by 3? It's something crazy. Okay. So 177 divided by 3, let's see, 59. So you would have 59 times your money. If you put 1,000 in there, it'd be 59,000. If you put 10,000 in there, it'd be 590,000. So if you put in your money on that day, if you converted your Bitcoin, so if you put 0.1 Bitcoin, let's say you had 1 Bitcoin, right? You only took 10% of that, 0.1, and put it into Solana, you would have had 5.9 Bitcoin now by doing that. So you waited on the support to break, and then you trade some Bitcoin for some Sol on the 8th or the 9th when the tweet happened, and the support broke, like we were talking about. Support broke, and then it tried to reclaim it, and then it broke down again. So Bitcoin on that day was 40K. So Bitcoin was at 40K on January 9th. So you could see right here, around 40K. And we're at 47K, right? So what's like 47K? Let's see. $47 divided by 40. What does that mean? So this would equal 17.5%. But 59x is 59 times 100. 5,900%. So by holding your money in Bitcoin over this time period from January 9th until today, you would have missed out on like 5,900% gains by just not even taking that risk or not being in Solana. So it is more risky now to be in Solana, but I still think there's a lot of potential with it. And for fun, let's just look at Ethereum. Let's see, I have ETH Solana here too. Okay, so look, since, oh my god, this was in, let's move this over. This was on January 6th. So even if you chart this, okay, I haven't charted this yet. Let's look. Let's do this together. So let's say there was a support here. You can even draw, or resistance there, I mean. You can draw a line there too, right? So ETH had a crazy uptrend against Solana starting in September, right? September 2020 went up like, let's say 600%. And then if you wanted to be conservative, you could have waited for this resistance or previous support level right here to break down. It looks like it broke down from it and it kept getting rejected and it kept going down farther, right? So let's say you entered right here, January 9th, the same exact day the SBF tweeted, right? So let's say from that point in time, you draw this percentage and draw it down. Let's see, because it's still going down. It's like, oh my god. So it's down 95%. Alright. So you lost 95% of your potential gains by being in Ethereum instead of Solana. So Solana outperformed Ethereum by like 95% since that time. Right? So let's see where Ethereum was. So we saw 59x on Solana since that time, right? Let's look at Ethereum since that time. So January 9th, where was Ethereum? Ethereum was at 1200. So right here, let's say around here. Okay. So January 9th. Okay, let's say around 1200, and then where are we at now? 3533. But it's not terrible. Ethereum went up almost 200% during that time if we compare it to right now. So 200% on Ethereum is nothing to sneeze at, right? That's still great gains. But are you truly maximizing your plays by just being in Ethereum during that point in time? So let's see where from January 9th. January 9th. Right here, right? Let's drag this up. Yep, look at that. Like 5,200 something percent. So 5,200% for Solana compared to about 200% on Ethereum. So what was a better play? Obvious, right? You don't have to be smart. It's not rocket science that Solana was a better play during this point in time, right? But then let's say you're getting more cautious on Solana, like, oh, I think that it's gone up too much. I will maybe want to sell some into cash or into Ethereum because you still really like Ethereum. You want to wait for this trend to change. So maybe until this like flips into some type of support, flips this resistance into support, and it keeps going up, maybe that's when you could start selling some for Ethereum. But right now, it's Solana just running the show, taking the market by storm. And look, Bitcoin is up 0.85 right now since 5 p.m. And Ethereum is at 2.75%. Oh shoot, Ethereum's up $100. But then let's look at Solana, what it's up. So Ethereum's up about 3%. What's Sol at? Sol is basically matching it, 2.5%. So yep, that's my video for today. Hope you guys found this useful. It's kind of long, but had to go in depth on Solana because so much information, and this was really important, I thought. All right, thank you guys for watching. Hope you found some information here useful. Go ahead and chart these yourself. Whatever coin you like, chart it against Solana and see if it's outperforming Solana, then get in. If not, just stick with Solana for now. That's my whole game plan. Of course, not financial advice. Do what you want with it. But we Sol gang over here now, you feel me? I have a good one. Peace.